Hello and welcome to an Envato Tuts Plus tutorial. I'm Adi Pordila, and in today's video I'll show you how to build a landing page in WordPress with Elementor. For those of you who don't know, Elementor is a free WordPress website builder. It offers over 80 design elements like buttons, headings, columns, and so on, and over 200 ready-to-use templates. So you can build anything you want, either that's a simple landing page or a full-fledged website. Now, in this video, I'll show you how to create this simple landing page using the free version of Elementor. All you need is a WordPress installation and a couple of minutes of your time. Before we get started, I'll assume you have a basic knowledge of how WordPress works and you know how to install plugins. So I won't go over setting up WordPress or installing Elementor. Instead, I'll just jump straight in and start building the landing page. And any resources that I'm using in this video will be linked down below. With that said, let's begin. Now, if you want to build a landing page in WordPress with Elementor, this plugin actually makes it really simple for you because you can go to Templates, Landing Pages, and you can add a new landing page directly from here. And what's really nice about Elementor is that it comes with all of these pre-made templates that you can use. So you can basically select a template from here and then customize it to your liking. And there are free templates, and there are templates only available in the Pro version, and those will be marked by this Pro badge on the top right corner of the item. Now, today we're not going to do this. I just thought I'd mention it so that you know this is also a way of creating a landing page with Elementor. Instead, today we're going to build this landing page from scratch. So let's go ahead and close out of that window, and I'm actually gonna exit back to the dashboard. We'll begin by actually creating a new page. So we'll go to Pages, Add New, and we're going to click Edit with Elementor. Now, before we get started, there are a couple of settings that we need to do to make our life a little bit easier. For that, we're going to go to the bottom left here where it says Settings. We can give this page a title if we want. We're going to call it Furniture Landing Page. And under Page Layout, this is very important, you need to select Elementor Canvas. This will basically strip away the header and the footer and will just leave the content that you want to display in there. Let's select Publish to save those changes, and let's actually open this page so we have it right here, and we can use it to preview what we're doing here in the back end. And now we are ready to start building. First, we'll create our hero area. For that, let's select a one-column section. For this one, we'll select the content width to full width, and the height, we'll set it to a min height of 100 viewport height. So this will basically span like the entire height of our viewport. Next, let's drag some elements in there. We need an image, and we need a heading. I'm just going to drag these in here, and we'll worry about styling these later. We need another heading, and by the way, this is also possible by duplicating that initial heading. And finally, I'm going to need a button. So let's go ahead and drag that in. Next, click on this image, choose image, and I'm going to choose this logo That's 64 by 64. Insert. And this is a little bit too big for what I need. So under image size, choose custom. And I'm going to define this as 64 by 64. Let's apply that. Alignment, make sure it's set to center. And while I'm here, let me go ahead and go to advanced and add a margin bottom of 128 pixels. Great, let's hit update. Next, this heading, let's select it. Let's add our text here. The HTML tag, we'll set this to H1, alignment center. And let's go to advanced and add 16 pixels margin bottom. Let's select the next one, add our text, align to center, set this as an H3, and don't worry about how these look. We'll come back and we'll style them properly. And also go to advanced and set 128 pixels margin bottom. Let's update that as well. And now let's turn our attention to the button. The text should say discover our chair selection. Let's align it to the center. Then go to the style tab. Under typography, set the font family to Poppins. Size will be 18 pixels. Weight will be bold. The line height will be set to 28 pixels. And then the text color, we'll set it as 9F7657. Background color will be transparent. We'll add a border, solid, 1 pixel, and the color will be the same as the text. And then for padding, we'll use 24 pixels, top, bottom, and 64 left and right. And this is how our button currently looks like. Now on hover, we'll basically set the text color to white. Background color will be that brown we used for the text. And that's pretty good. Let's also add a hover animation of grow. So now our button looks like this. Let's go ahead and save. Now, let's style the rest of this section. For that, let's also first go to Site Settings, Typography, and under Body, where it says Text Color, we're going to change that to 3C3A47. Let's also add this color to our global colors. We'll call it Custom Text. And then for typography, we'll set the family to Poppins. This is a Google font. 18 pixels as a default font size and 28 pixels as a default line height. Okay, so that's just for the body. Now, if you remember, we set up this heading as an H1. So let's go ahead and change its color. We're going to click on this icon and choose Custom Text. And for typography, we're going to choose Poppins. The size will be 57. Weight, bold. Line height will be 86. And letter spacing, we're going to go to like -2. Looks pretty good. Then we're going to target the H3. For color, we're going to use the custom text as well. And under typography, same font family. The size will be 32. The weight will be 200. The line height will be 48. And the letter spacing will be like -1.5 or 1.4. That looks pretty good. Now, if you notice, some of these changes are not being applied, like some of the font weights or colors. And that might be caused by the following situation. If we go back to our WordPress dashboard, you'll see that under Elementor settings, we have two options: disable default colors and disable default fonts. Basically, these will disable Elementor's default colors and make Elementor inherit the colors and fonts from the theme. So let's go ahead and check these, save changes. And now, upon a refresh, we can see that those changes that we made inside Elementor right here were successfully applied. And we can do a refresh here as well, so we can see them in real time. Great. So this first section is almost done. The only thing that we need to do is select it and go into Advanced and add some nice padding to it. So I'm going to choose about a 240 pixel padding. Oops, 240 I meant to say, on top and bottom, and also left and right. We'll slice that down to half, to like maybe 120. Great. And one last thing here is we need to go to Style, Background Type. I'm going to use just a white color, like so. Perfect. So that's our first section. Let's hit Update, and let's move on to the second section. For that, click on this plus sign. We'll choose again a one column layout. This time I'm going to select this section. Content width is also going to be full width. We'll go to Style. We'll add a background color to EFF0EA. And under Advanced, we'll set a padding of 240, top and bottom, and 120 left and right. And let's hit Update. In here, we're going to start dragging some elements. We have a heading. We have another heading. Then we have a piece of text. So we'll grab the text editor. And then we're going to have an inner section. So basically more columns. Let's see about the text. Select this first, add our text, and set this to the center and assign an H6 HTML tag. This will be an H2. Let's add our text, also assign it to the center. And then let's edit the text in here. Let's go to Style, align this to the center as well. And under Advanced, under Positioning, we'll set the width to a custom width of about 640 pixels. And then we'll select this column and we'll set its horizontal align to center. Next, select the first heading, go to Advanced, add a margin bottom of 8. Select the second heading, Advanced, add a margin bottom of 32 pixels. And select the text here and add a margin bottom of 64 pixels. Great. Now let's style the elements that we created so far. This is an H6 element. This is an H2 element. So let's hit Update here. We'll go back to Site Settings, Typography, and we'll scroll down to the H2 here. Color is going to be the custom text. Typography, we'll set that as Poppins. The size will be 43. Weight, bold. Line height, 64 pixels. Letter spacing, something like -1.5. Whatever looks good to our eyes. So that's the H2. Now let's scroll down to the H6. Again, the text will be custom, the text color, excuse me, will be the custom color we defined previously. Pop-ins for a font family. Font size will be 18 pixels, weight 200. Transform uppercase. Line height will be 28 pixels. Letter spacing will actually go with a plus this time, around 3 or maybe 2.5. I think I'll just leave it at 2.5. So there is a bit more distance between the letters. And finally, this text right here is actually already styled because we defined the body text correctly. So let's hit update and let's close that screen. And this is what we have so far. Pretty cool. Now let's see about this section right here. For it, I'm going to be using the following elements: an image, a heading, a text editor, which will actually duplicate 2 times. And that's it. Now for the image, I'm going to be choosing this one, insert, and I'm going to be choosing the full image here. And under advanced, I'm going to set a margin bottom of 24. Also, I'm going to select this column and I'm going to set the widget space to 24. This is actually helpful in this situation. And actually, I shouldn't have added this 24 pixels here on the bottom. Let's just go ahead and delete it on the image. What I do want to do instead is select the column, go to advanced, and set the padding to 0. Great. So that's the image. Now the heading, we'll just say 01. We'll assign an H5 to this. This bit will say the title of our product, and let's also make it bold. This will be a small description, and this will be the price, like so. Now, let's duplicate this column 2 more times. So duplicate, and we can delete this one. Let's change this image. And also this one. Let's change the text here to 02. This to 03. Let's change the text here as well. We'll make this bold. The description. And also the price. And we'll do the same for the third item. All right. Now, let's actually add some space between these columns. Then we can select this and we can add a margin, let's say left and right of like 12 pixels. We'll do the same here. And here as well. Great. Now let's take care of one last thing in this section, and that is the H5. Right, so let's update this. We'll go back to our site settings under typography, and on the H5, we'll set its color to the custom text. And we're actually gonna decrease its opacity to about 50%, like so. And under typography, well, we'll just set it to pop-ins. The size will be 43, weight 200, line height 64 pixels, letter spacing, we'll just leave it like so, maybe a tad smaller like that, hit update. And with that, the second section is now complete. Pretty cool. Let's move on. I'm gonna scroll all the way down, create another section. Content width, we'll set it to full width. We'll go to style, background type, color. Let's actually paste in the same color we used for the buttons and save this as custom accent. So we can reuse it later. Under advanced, let's set the padding to 240 top, 120 right, 240 bottom, 120 left. Great. And in here, let's add a heading and also a button. But for the button, I'm actually gonna copy this one and paste it right here. Okay, we can't see it yet because it's using the same color as the background, but we will in just a little bit. For the heading text, let's set this as an H4, align it to the center, and let's also go to positioning. Let's give it a custom width of 640 pixels, and then we'll select the column, and we'll set horizontal align to center. And also let's remove this widget space like so. And also let's set a 0 padding to everything. Now for this H4, let's go back to site settings, typography. And under H4, we're gonna use white as color. Under typography, we're going to choose pop-ins, 24 pixels. Weight is going to be 200. Line height will be 36 pixels. And that's pretty much it. Update. Now let's see about this button. So select the button. The text should say order now. And then under style, the text color should be white, background transparent, border color should be white, and on hover, we're basically going to flip this around. So the text color will be the custom accent, the background color will be white, and the border color will be nothing. So just like that. Finally, let's select the heading and add a 32 pixels margin bottom, like so. And that's section number 3 complete. Finally, in the last section, we're going to have some contact information. So create a new one from here, one column, content full width, under style, choose a white background. Under advanced, choose 240 pixels padding top bottom, 120 pixels left and right. Inside, we're going to grab one heading, paste it in, and then duplicate it 2 more times. And we're also going to grab a widget that's called social icons. And I'm just going to drag that in here as well. Now, first heading is going to say visit our store. I'm going to set this up as an H6, align in the middle, go to advanced, set 32 pixels, margin bottom. This one will say a phone number. We'll set it up as an H1, align in the middle, set a margin bottom, 32 pixels. This one will be an address. We'll set it up as an H3, align in the middle, and give it 128 pixels margin bottom. And then finally, let's select the social icons. We have Facebook, Twitter, but instead of YouTube, I want Instagram. So Instagram, I'm going to insert that in. Here, you would put in the links to your Instagram profile. In my case, I'm just going to leave them blank. And under the color, I'm actually going to say custom color. and I'm going to use the custom text that we defined, and I'm going to do this on all of them. I want the Twitter to be displayed first, so Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. The shape, I'm going to select square. Under style, I'm going to set up the size as 24 pixels and the spacing as 24 pixels as well. And I'm going to hit update. The final section is our footer. This is really simple, so let's do this. Same drill, content width, full width. Under style, we're going to make it white. And under advanced, we're going to use a much smaller padding this time, 96 pixels all around. And here, I'm just going to add a text editor. And I'm going to add my text. Instead of this C, let's actually add the copyright symbol here. So we actually have, let's see, where is that? Special character, and we're going to choose this. And if we want to set up some links here, we can just select them. Insert edit link. I'm just going to link to wordpress.org and elementor.com. All right, let's go to style, align this in the middle, go to advanced, positioning, let's give this a custom width, 640 pixels, and then select this column, horizontal align set to center, and also just reset this widget space and set the padding to 0, just like that. And let's also do the same for this column here. Just reset this to 0 and set the padding to 0 as well. Let's update and let's see what we got. So there's our header, the chair selection, the call to action, the contact information, and then the footer. Two more things we need to do here. Let's style these links a little bit differently. So for that, I'm going to go to Site Settings, Typography, and where it says link, I'm going to set its color to the custom accent. And typography, I'm going to set the weight to bold, like so. And this is the normal state. On hover, I want to set the color back to the custom text, like that. And one other thing, it would be nice to make these buttons scroll to the corresponding sections. So this button will scroll to the selection. So for that, it's actually quite simple to do. We'll select first this section under layout, or excuse me, under advanced. You will give it a CSS ID. So let's call this the selection. And then we'll go to the button, and where it says link, you're just going to say the selection. So exactly the same thing. And you'll see that the button now will scroll our page to the desired section. Let's do the same for this. Select this section right here, and we'll give this an ID of visit. Select the button, content, link, visit. So now the button will scroll as well. Hit update, and let's do a refresh and get a final look at our landing page. Hey, that's pretty good. Now, one last thing you can do here is check out how your landing page looks like on mobile and tablet. So you have a little drop down here where it says responsive mode, and you can preview it on a tablet. That's just going to shrink the viewport. And while you're in this mode, you can make any changes you want. You can also choose mobile here, and it's going to be displayed on an even smaller viewport. So to give you an example of the change, I'm not going to go through the whole page, just this header. I'm going to select the section, and under Advanced, you can see that the padding I'm going to use now only applies to the mobile, right? So I can choose, for example, 32 pixels of padding top and bottom and right and left, or I can use different values. I can choose this logo, and under Advanced, I can set the margin bottom to a much smaller value, something like 32 pixels, right? So again, these are changes that are being applied only to mobile. You'll see that when we switch back to desktop, the logo and the section that we change have different properties, but on mobile, they have the ones that we set up just now. So just like that, you can go through your entire page and you can change the various properties of your elements, like widths and margins and paddings, to be displayed properly on mobile. This tutorial is already long enough, so I'm not going to go over that as well. But essentially, this is how you can create a landing page with WordPress and Elementor. All right, and that wraps up this video. I hope you found it useful and it gave you some inspiration for your future projects. As you can see, it's really easy to work with Elementor. It's a great visual builder, and it's a great solution for people who don't want to spend time writing code to create a website, or for people who actually don't know how to write code and they still want to be able to create a website. And you can do a lot of things with just the free version of Elementor, just like I showed you right now. With that said, thank you very much for watching. I'm Adi, and until next time, take care.